Alright, so the world went sideways in 2033 when dimensional gates unleashed giant crystal beasts on everyone. Turns out, conventional weapons are basically useless against them, putting humanity on the fast track to extinction. But then some humans awakened special abilities, letting them hatch their own contracted crystal beasts from eggs. These new beast tamers became the elite fighting monsters with their own, way cooler-looking monsters. And of course, the strongest tamers got all the money and power, living like edgy kings on thrones of bones. Our main character, however, clarifies that none of this epic world-building applies to him, thanks for asking. He wakes up feeling completely paralyzed, thinking it is just a bad case of sleep paralysis. Except his paralysis is a blonde girl named Lily who somehow migrated from the couch onto him. While he is freaking out about her death grip, his little sister picks the absolute worst time to call. He tries to play it cool on the phone, a master of subtlety while a girl is literally in his lap. Suddenly, the call takes a very bad turn and he is in full panic mode, promising to be there immediately. Lily wakes up confused, and our boy tries to explain the situation while looking guilty as all hell, of course. Hearing his sister's in danger, she is instantly all in, ready to jump into action and save her. His brain completely short-circuits as she is ignoring the woke up on top of you thing for the mission. Meanwhile, his sister Luna is cornered by thugs, trying to bluff that her brother Chen Xing is on his way. This boss, a guy in a fedora, is not impressed, saying a normal fighter like her brother is useless these days. This guy casually flexes his own giant crystal beast, with his goons confirming he is a certified tamer. Luna is terrified, realizing her brother, who they call a talentless loser, is completely outmatched. And right on cue, Chen Xing kicks the door in with Lily, ready to throw down for his sister. This goons are just shocked he showed up, basically welcoming him to his own funeral. This fedora boss gives some friendly advice, basically telling Chen Xing he is way out of his league. His generous offer is for Chen Xing to kneel and beg since his sister is apparently the main prize. Then he clarifies the deal, just hand over Luna for a few months until he gets bored, no biggie. But his wandering eyes quickly land on Lily and his scumbagometer goes into overdrive. This guy actually reaches for her, asking if she is a replacement, offering what a gentleman. Chen Xing's response to this negotiation is a fist straight to the jaw, very diplomatic. Our boy sends him flying backwards, screaming at him to keep his filthy hands off her. And down he goes, completely stunned that the talentless loser just rocked his entire world. His ego is shattered, absolutely screaming about how a talentless piece of trash dared to hit him. Chen Xing just cracks his knuckles, explaining his body is hundreds of times stronger than a normal human's. Recovering from his tantrum, the boss orders his giant crystal snake to just kill the kid already. This massive snake coils up, charging a pretty nasty-looking energy blast right in its mouth. It unleashes a massive explosion, but Chen Xing is just standing there inside a perfect shimmering shield. One of the goons gets hit by the splashback while the boss brags about his expensive pet's venom. He goes full monologue, laughing about how tamers run the world and detailing his gross plans for Luna. Luna can only watch in absolute terror, her hope starting to completely drain away. Suddenly, a voice from the smoke calls him out for being a fake. A real tamer does not just buy their beast. And it is Chen Xing, glowing with golden energy, promising to show him what a real crystal beast looks like. This boss's brain just blue screens, totally unable to process how this loser could possibly have a contract, because the real crystal beast is Lily, who calmly floats and says, "At your command, my master." Lily begins to transform, her entire body glowing with this incredible golden energy. Her full form is revealed and she very politely asks Chen Xing for permission to punish the villains. This fedora boss is completely losing his mind, having no idea humanoid beasts even existed. Panicking, he screams at his giant snake to attack, but the poor thing is absolutely terrified. He starts mashing a remote control, cursing his useless trash for disobeying his commands, which apparently sends a massive electric shock right through the snake's head. What a great owner. Lily is absolutely furious, calling him out for abusing his own beast before she steps in to help. But Chen Xing just calmly explains that the control device is broken, so his orders are useless now. And then he just walks up to the giant snake, offering to make a proper contract with it instead. This snake immediately accepts, and Chen Xing reveals that meeting Lily is what awakened his tamer powers. A system window pops up confirming the contract is a success. He just stole the guy's main weapon. As a bonus, the contract immediately triggers a humanoid transformation for his new pet. She morphs into a red-haired snake lady, explaining that she can now take on a human form. Gratefully, she pledges her complete loyalty to Chen Xing for freeing her from that psycho. Then she gets real close, asking her new master to use her well while he is just blushing furiously. Lily is having none of it, immediately yanking the new girl away and starting a jealousy-fueled argument. While they are bickering, the police show up and start cuffing the now-defeated fedora boss. A blue-haired officer lists his many charges, confirming he is going to be locked up for decades. She thanks Chen Xing for his help, but he just says he was there to rescue his sister. This officer then explains that the snake was illegal anyway, since non-tamers cannot own offensive beasts. This blue-haired officer suggests he officially register as a tamer, making future cooperation way easier. Back at home, Luna spots the new snake girl and immediately asks if her brother is starting a collection. To level up their lifestyle, Chen Xing hits the books for the tamer exam while Lily just keeps eating. After clearing a mountain of food, Lily pats her stomach and says she's still hungry, completely breaking his brain. She cheerfully suggests her black hole appetite might mean she is about to evolve, a terrifying thought for his wallet. His mind, of course, immediately jumps to some very specific and cultured potential evolution forms for her. Now filled with a truly noble purpose, our boy is fired up to pass the test for the sake of evolution. At the same time, the new snake girl gets clingy, demanding her own name since Lily got one. He settles on Fizz, which she absolutely loves, while a tiny, rage-fueled Lily literally burns with jealousy. Fully committed, Chen Xing calls the officer, who confirms there is an entry-level test next week. She offers to send him all the study materials he needs, asking for a few favors down the line. A few days later, the written exam is done, and it is time for the practical test in a giant stadium. Chen Xing enters the arena with Fizz in her giant snake form, deciding to keep his humanoid aces hidden. From out of the sky, a glowing blue bird beast suddenly appears, looking like it is about to attack. It dives straight for them, and Chen Xing has to yell for Fizz to watch out. But then a voice frantically shouts that the bird is their own crystal beast, pleading not to hurt it. This blue blur of feathers keeps speeding down, completely out of its owner's control. And it crashes right into a purple-haired girl who is clearly having a rough first day with her new pet. She finally wrangles the bird, apologizing for all the trouble and its disobedient attitude. Introducing herself as Jiang Xinian, she wishes Chen Xing good luck, kicking off a brand new rivalry. Onlookers are already gossiping about the new girl, with one guy noting her bird is a pretty rare type. An announcer then calls Chen Xing to the stage, laying out the simple win-or-fail rules for his practical exam. His opponent's crystal beast is a soldier-class bird, a windling which swoops into the arena looking for a fight. From the stands, some VIPs smugly point out the terrible type matchup. A snake against a bird is just bad luck. Chen Xing does not hesitate for a second, ordering Fizz to open with a full-power venom shot right out of the gate. This toxic green energy blasts across the arena as the bird zips through the air to evade the attack. Our favorite VIPs immediately write him off as a rookie for such a reckless opening move, zero strategy, all brute force. After dodging, the bird powers up its own attack, glowing as it prepares a dive bomb on the seemingly slow snake. It comes screaming down in a golden blur, aiming to finish the fight with a single decisive strike. But Chen Xing yells for Fizz to spring the trap, revealing the whole thing was a calculated bait. Fizz lunges upwards with incredible speed, catching the overconfident bird completely by surprise, and with a massive chomp, the fight is pretty much over before it even really started. This announcer is stunned, realizing the rookie just faked exhaustion to lure his opponent into a perfect counter. With the test complete, Chen Xing casually thinks being a tamer is not so hard after all, a real confidence booster. He then spots Jiang Xinian, the girl from before, taking the stage for her own exam and decides to watch. Except her bird is not some normal pet, it is a freaking divine class ice crystal phoenix, which is just a slight power level difference. Her opponent's poor leopard beast gets instantly pelted by a storm of ice shards, never even standing a chance. This match ends in a literal flash freeze, with Jiang Xinian passing her test without breaking a sweat. Suddenly, a strange, fiery beast appears nearby, and Chen Xing wonders if it is some kind of surprise bonus round. That beast then morphs into a massive, monstrous form, looming right behind an oblivious Jiang Xinian. Jiang Xinian is looking pretty confident, completely oblivious to the raging fire beast about to pounce. This fire beast lunges straight for her, but Lily intercepts with a blade of her own, jumping into the fray. Chen Xing is completely blindsided, yelling about why Lily just jumped into a fight without his command. She is already struggling against its raw power, realizing this thing is on a whole different level. This monster immediately pivots back to its original target, swiping down at a frozen Jiang Xinian. Chen Xing sprints in, yelling at her for just spacing out in the middle of a monster attack. Her brain finally reboots, looking completely stunned that someone is actually trying to save her. He makes a heroic dive, tackling her out of the way just as the beast's claws slash past. Even Lily admits this thing is too much for her alone, calling for backup from both him and Fizz. Our boy gets to his feet, pulling his new rival up while ordering his beasts to get ready for a team fight. Fizz finally joins the fray, and it is clear the fire beast is just rampaging mindlessly, completely berserk. This rival girl finally connects the dots. The beast went nuts fighting her, so she is jumping in to help. Taking charge, Chen Xing immediately orders Fizz to fire a full-power venom shot. This toxic blast slams right into the berserk beast, staggering it with a face full of green venom. It roars in agony, the venom clearly doing some serious damage and slowing it down for a moment. Seeing his opening, Chen Xing yells for Lily to go in for the finishing blow, and Lily dives in like a golden meteor, plunging her spear right through the monster's back. And just like that, it is over, with Chen Xing posing over the defeated beast like this is just another Tuesday. A whole team of guys in lab coats finally shows up, asking their VIP if she is alright after she almost got flattened. This lead scientist pushes past, questioning how their own test beast went rogue before deciding he needs a word with Chen Xing. This lead scientist is gone, replaced by a sharp-dressed chief examiner who is very impressed with his little stunt. Her eyes immediately lock onto Lily, realizing she might be one of the legendary humanoid crystal beasts. Back in her high-tech lab, she pulls up all the data from the fight to get a closer look at our boy's profile. This results are mind-blowing. She has never seen a beast like this, and Chen Xing wonders if Lily is truly one of a kind. She clarifies it is just a first for the association before summoning her own beast to make a little comparison. And out pops her seven tails, a fox-like beast that is also pretty close to humanoid form. This fox immediately takes a liking to Chen Xing, and the examiner jokes that he must be some kind of special specimen. But all the attention makes Fizz start glowing with a powerful red aura, clearly not happy about the new arrival. Chen Xing immediately senses something is up, realizing this is not just a simple jealousy fit. A system window confirms it. Fizz is evolving, ranking up to soldier class and getting a major skill boost. He is totally amazed by her new form, with the examiner confirming the battle exp must have triggered the change. She then drops some lore explaining beasts evolve through experience and can take on different forms along their path. Lily pouts about not evolving yet, but the examiner just says super strong beasts need way more exp, a backhanded compliment. This examiner then offers him some crystal capsules for storage, since he is way too broke to afford them himself. He takes one of the devices and gently places it against Fizz's head to test it out. And just like that, Fizz is sucked into the capsule in a swirl of light, making storage a whole lot easier. Lily freaks out thinking she is next, but Chen Xing just smugly reassures her she is not going in a ball. With business done, the examiner officially declares him a junior master and makes a very forward request to study his beasts. She gets way too close for comfort, offering rewards for more humanoid samples, a totally professional scientific inquiry, I am sure. Finally free, Chen Xing celebrates his new official status and salary, but it looks like someone's waiting for him outside. Turns out Jiang Xinian was waiting for him, wanting to properly thank him for the save. She is super embarrassed about her performance and offers to grant him any reasonable request as repayment. His brain immediately defaults to unlimited money, but he smoothly suggests they just be friends first, which she completely misinterprets as a confession, blushing and agreeing to be his girlfriend on the spot. Seeing her short circuit, Chen Xing tells her to think it over and makes a very tactical retreat. Later that night, he is in bed with Lily, trying to figure out why that test beast went berserk. Just as he is about to drift off, Fizz's capsule starts glowing and a voice calls out for her master. And out she pops in humanoid form, cheerfully announcing she wants to sleep with him too. Our boy wakes up completely trapped between his two extremely clingy humanoid beasts. What a nightmare. Meanwhile, Lily has a cryptic dream where a voice tells her to awaken and walk the path of a king. This disembodied voice commands her to seek out the 7 virtues to reclaim her true power. This next morning, she casually mentions her weird dream about kingship, jogging his memory. Chen Xing suddenly remembers hearing a voice talk about assisting the king when he first found her. He then looks at her stuffing her face and wonders if she is just destined to be the king of eating. With a new goal in mind, they head off to the futuristic headquarters of the Crystal Beast Master Association. Inside the massive lobby, he explains to Lily that this is where masters take jobs to earn cash and points. A receptionist formally welcomes him and asks if he is there to train or accept a commission. This mission board is full of lame, low-paying gigs because competition for beginner quests is fierce. But then he spots one mission with a massive reward that has been left completely untouched. This receptionist explains it was posted by a Dr. Qiang, who is so cursed with bad luck that nobody will work for her. Chen Xing is pretty shocked to hear about a mission so cursed that nobody will even touch it. But our boy just smirks and accepts, figuring he is already tangled up with one walking disaster, so what is another? They arrive at the White Pine Forest, which is less of a location and more of an entire continent of trees. After steamrolling a bunch of local wildlife, he asks Lily if she is feeling any evolution vibes and gets a hard nope. She even apologizes for not leveling up, which is a weirdly polite thing for a living weapon to do. Just then, Lily spots their actual target, a cute little twin-tail beast just minding its own business. He immediately goes into full who is a good boy mode, trying to sweet-talk it into a capture ball. This little fox is having none of it and bolts, forcing them into a frantic chase through the woods. Now separated from Lily, he finds the fox, gloating that it walked right into his trap, until he senses someone else lurking nearby, completely ruining his moment. A new scumbag appears, having already caged the fox and bragging about the price it'll fetch on the black market. At that moment, Fizz's capsule starts shaking violently, and Chen Xing realizes this poacher business is personal for her. This poacher summons his own beast, a horrifying poison spider, revealing he is part of some shady underworld gang. In response, Chen Xing unleashes Fizz in her humanoid form, who immediately calls the guy out for being a poacher. This poacher's eyes just light up with greed, drooling over how rare a beast like Fizz must be. Without hesitation, the guy orders his spider to attack, launching a massive volley of sticky purple webs. Chen Xing screams for Fizz to dodge, but the web is just too fast and wide to escape, and she gets completely tangled up, trapped in the spider's sticky prison. This poacher laughs, ordering his spider to move in and finish her off with its venomous fangs. As the monster's jaws close in, Chen Xing yells for Fizz to use Serpent's Gaze, her only hope of turning this around. Fizz's eyes glow with a terrifying green light, locking onto the spider to unleash her skill. This Serpent's Gaze hits like a truck, instantly freezing the giant spider with paralyzing energy. This poacher is completely shocked, realizing both his beast and Fizz are now totally immobilized. But he is still convinced he can turn the tables, not realizing he has already lost this fight, because Fizz's tail was not paralyzed and she whips it around to smack the guy senseless. Chen Xing now stands over the tied-up poacher, smugly asking who has the upper hand. Rummaging through his loot, he finds a ton of valuable energy crystals and a very suspicious potion. He decides to just grab the twin tail to complete the mission, but then Fizz calls out to him. At that moment, he finally remembers Lily and wonders where she disappeared to during the fight. And there she is, beaten up and desperately screaming for her master to run for his life. A new villain arrives, an officer from the dark underworld gang with a massive six-winged bee. This woman taunts Lily about a past encounter, while Lily warns Chen Xing that she is seriously dangerous. Forgetting the mission, she orders her bee to just kill the brat with a volley of explosive needles. These needles slam right into the still paralyzed Fizz, and Chen Xing screams out her name in horror. This villain then orders her beast to ignore the pets and aim directly for the tamer himself. A whole new barrage of explosive energy comes raining down right on top of Chen Xing. She just laughs, reminding him this is not a friendly competition, they are an evil organization, duh. With a cruel smile, she gives the final order to take him down for good. But her beast suddenly stops, seemingly blocked by the poacher's own spider beast. Turns out Fizz broke free from her paralysis, declaring she is not going down that easily. Chen Xing praises Fizz's save, but the villain just scoffs, boasting about her night-rank bee. With a golden flash, her bee effortlessly swats the attack aside, calling it a pathetic trick. This villain is suddenly stunned. Not only did her targets vanish, but the caged fox is gone too. Realizing Fizz is out of commission, Chen Xing knows they need a real strategy to beat this thing. Suddenly, a panicked Lily grabs him, and our boy has no idea what has gotten into her. She is freaking out, realizing the villain planted a scent on him to track them down, a classic rookie mistake. Thinking fast, he uses the caged fox as bait for a trap and orders Lily to get to safety. He tells her this next fight is too dangerous, prioritizing her safety over the mission for once. To power her up, he hands over the poacher's crystals with a totally normal, not at all creepy grin. Meanwhile, the villain and her giant bee are closing in, taunting that she can sense them nearby. After eating the crystals, Lily just complains about being full, leaving Chen Xing wondering what the final trigger is. Just then, a massive volley of explosive stingers rains down on their position, and Lily leaps in front of Chen Xing, taking the full force of the deadly barrage herself. Their hiding spot blown, the villain smirks, declaring that the game of hide-and-seek is officially over. In a desperate move, Lily offers to surrender if the villain will spare her master's life, but the villain just laughs, deciding it is way more efficient to just kill them both on the spot. Lily despairs, feeling completely useless and wishing she could just evolve to turn the tables. At that exact moment, a blinding light erupts from her, shocking the villain with its raw power. From the light emerges a massive, dragon-like beast, roaring for the villain to unhand its master. Chen Xing can only stare in awe, realizing the impossible has happened. Lily has finally evolved. A system window confirms it. Lily's now an apprentice knight, rocking a whole new royal-class look. But the villain just scoffs, reminding them she still has Chen Xing hostage, a classic checkmate that is not. Lily responds not with words, but with a massive dragon-shaped fire blast from her new King's Flame skill. For the first time, the so-called Queen Bee is actually terrified, completely intimidated by this girl's raw power. Chen Xing sees his opening and yells for Lily to attack while he makes a tactical escape. Panicking, the villain orders her bee to fire another volley of explosive needles to stop the charge. This time, however, Lily just tanks the entire barrage head-on without even flinching. This villain is stunned, realizing Lily's evolution skipped like 2 full ranks of power-ups. With a single, overwhelming attack, Lily's King's Flame completely engulfs the giant bee. Her beast goes down in a fiery crash, but the villain warns she has more than one ace up her sleeve. As she prepares to summon her next monster, a powerful new presence interrupts the fight. And she is completely blindsided, demanding to know who dares interfere with her business. Turns out the little twin-tail fox brought its massive, multi-tailed parent for backup. This villain tries to play it cool, pretending one more wild beast is no big deal. But then she immediately pulls a runner, promising revenge before disappearing in a storm of pink spikes. Chen Xing is just left there baffled, wondering if she really got scared off that easily. He even calls her a tsundere, which is a bold diagnosis for a high-ranking gang member. Now they are face-to-face with the giant wolf beast who is just staring them down. In a wild twist, Lily translates that the beast is grateful and wants to invite them to its home. Our boy is completely floored she can understand it, and she just casually says she gets the general idea. Chen Xing agrees to the field trip, figuring a visit to a secret beast tribe is too good to pass up. This giant fox leads them through a glowing portal, straight into the hidden territory of its tribe. Inside is a secret oasis, a place so hidden it is not even on the association's official maps. Their welcoming committee is a pack of snarling foxes who are understandably not big fans of humans, but their giant guide puts the welcoming party in its place with a single, terrifying snarl. It lets out a massive roar, basically telling the entire tribe to stand down and behave. With the locals now pacified, Lily explains this is their sacred land and they are safe here. She then points out a cursed ancestral stone that they absolutely should not touch, and he is like, noted. Except the cursed stone immediately starts calling out to Lily, wrapping her in a swirl of energy. This energy yanks her through the air, pulling her directly towards the forbidden shrine against her will. Chen Xing can only watch in horror as she is dragged off, completely helpless to stop it. She lands right in front of the altar, where a powerful new entity begins to materialize from pure energy. This new fox spirit senses a long-lost aura on Lily, recognizing the scent of a red dragon. Lily is shocked she knows about her lineage, and the spirit confirms she is the ancestor of the whole tribe. She introduces herself as Amaterasu, the progenitor of the Nine Tails, looking extremely smug about it. This ancient spirit explains that Lily carries the aura of a long-dead red dragon king, grabbing her for a closer look. Amaterasu then calls her pathetically weak, just a watered-down descendant despite her kingly potential. In response, Chen Xing grabs Lily's hand, vowing that they will get stronger together, which is surprisingly sweet. He then asks the ancient fox spirit if she knows anything about Lily's whole destined to be king dream. Amaterasu acknowledges the legend of a returning king, but immediately writes it off as total nonsense. Amaterasu, intrigued by Lily's bond with a human, casually tosses her a legendary water sword. A system window reveals it is a damaged Lord-level torrent sword, a serious water-type artifact. Lily is completely floored, wondering if she can really accept such an insane gift. But Amaterasu just shrugs it off as a broken toy, calling it an investment in a future king. She then drops a quest hook about 10 other divine swords before just yawning and poofing away. Chen Xing is left to process this sudden collect all 10 side quests to power up his girl. At that moment, the sword's power goes wild, trapping Lily in a vortex of blue energy. From the torrent emerges a massive demonic-looking water dragon, the sword's angry spirit. This thing is absolutely huge, looming over them as its trial begins, or maybe it is just having a bad day. It immediately drags Lily into the watery chaos, and she screams for her master to help. Without a second of hesitation, Chen Xing dives right into the maelstrom after her. He gives her a classic shonen pep talk, reminding her of her red dragon blood and telling her to own it. With that boost, something clicks and Lily's expression hardens with newfound determination. She now faces the water dragon head-on, ready to tame this beast instead of just fighting it. Holding the sword high, she commands the torrent to submit, channeling her inner royalty. This dragon lets out one last defiant roar as her will begins to overwhelm its power. In a total flip, the spirit bows, acknowledging her as its king and asking her to test its strength. Her eyes snap open with pure confidence, basically telling the ancient power to bring it on. With a massive slash, she unleashes the sword's full might, completely taming the wild energy. Amaterasu reappears, stunned she mastered it so fast, now wondering if Lily is a direct heir after all. Amaterasu realizes our boy is not just a tamer, he is the key to unlocking Lily's full dragon potential. With their ancestors' blessing, the entire fox tribe now bows before Lily and Chen Xing. Lily is totally lost on royal etiquette, and Chen Xing just jokes that she should tell them to rise. Their guide explains they are now honored guests, invited to witness the tribe's most important tradition. This formerly hostile foxes are now serving them snacks, which Lily is very happy to accept. As night falls, the whole pack begins a ritual run, howling at the full moon. Turns out the young ones are about to absorb the moonlight's energy to trigger their evolution. And right on cue, the little twin tail they saved starts glowing, its body beginning to change. A burst of energy erupts as it lets out a powerful howl, its form twisting into something new. It is now a three-tail, and Lily translates that it wants to join Chen Xing on his adventures. But its parent immediately steps in for a classic "you're grounded" moment, shutting that idea down. Chen Xing kneels down, promising to wait until it is stronger so they can adventure together someday. Just as he is planning their sneaky exit, a familiar voice interrupts them. Amaterasu pops back in, claiming she forgot something, much to Chen Xing's exasperation. She hands him a shard of the Killing Stone, a pass that marks him as an ally to all fox demons. After she poofs away again, he is justifiably suspicious she will be back in 5 minutes with another forgotten item. Waving goodbye, Chen Xing recaps their insane haul from this little side quest. Then his mind immediately drifts to what the Three Tails' humanoid form would look like, and of course, it is a maid. Back in the real world, he is debriefing the whole chaotic adventure at a research lab. He has to admit that after all that, they still did not catch the target, so the mission was a total failure. This researcher is back, shaking Chen Xing down for every last detail about Amaterasu and the Killing Stone. She admits that while he failed the original mission, the intel he brought back is way more valuable. He decides to probe her for info, casually asking about Knights of the Crystal Beast World and Divine Swords. While Knights is a new one on her, she confirms that rumors about Divine Swords are definitely circulating. She explains that some beast tamers have been mysteriously vanishing during high-stakes competitions. They eventually reappear with amnesia, their only memory being a vision of a burning demonic sword. Later that night, Chen Xing puts 2 and 2 together, wondering if that is one of the swords Amaterasu mentioned. His deep thoughts are immediately interrupted by Fizz, who pops out of nowhere and glomps onto him. She then gets uncomfortably close, suggesting they do some training right now, and she is not talking about sparring. Meanwhile, a very motivated Lily is training hard with her new sword, determined not to fall behind her rivals. But the sword's power suddenly surges, and she can barely contain the massive torrent of water energy. After getting completely soaked, she just brushes it off, claiming she is fine and only got a little wet. Chen Xing comforts her, telling her not to push so hard, while Fizz just watches with a judgmental stare. Our boy realizes that to investigate the disappearances, he is going to have to find someone to battle. Right on cue, a shadowy figure watches them from the trees, whispering that she has finally found him. It is a purple-haired girl trying to psych herself up, pretending this is a casual date and not a big deal. She confronts them, and Chen Xing's casual greeting leaves her completely flustered and screaming. Seeing his chance, he immediately challenges her to a fight because priorities are priorities. Her entire demeanor flips, and now she is eager for a beast battle to test out her newly evolved partner. With a dramatic pose, she summons her Night-class Frostfire Phoenix, which is just ridiculously huge. Chen Xing is immediately sweating, realizing this Phoenix is a divine-level beast whose aura alone is dropping the temperature. He gives Lily a quick pep talk, reminding her they have handled night-class opponents before, so stay sharp. But the purple-haired girl is not waiting around, ordering her phoenix to unleash a massive ice attack. And just like that, Lily is instantly trapped inside a giant crystalline ice coffin. Not a great start. Our boy is now wondering if this girl was just playing meek this whole time, because that opening move was no joke. He yells for Lily to break free, and her eyes immediately start glowing with that signature red dragon power. With a massive burst of her king's flame, she completely shatters the ice prison from the inside out. Now it is the challenger's turn to sweat, complaining about the heat while ordering her bird to keep attacking. Chen Xing just grins, feeling the same battle-hungry energy from his opponent and telling Lily to let loose. This two elemental beasts then clash in an epic showdown, a massive dragon of fire against a phoenix of ice. Their attacks collide, creating a swirling vortex of unstable energy that starts to warp space itself. He immediately recognizes what this is. It is the rumored portal that has been making beast tamers disappear. Lily confirms his suspicion, saying something inside the portal is calling to her, just like the cursed stone did. With that, our boy decides investigating is way more important than winning, and they both dive right in. This vortex of energy implodes, sucking them into whatever strange dimension lies on the other side. Back in the real world, the purple-haired girl is left completely baffled, wondering where her opponents just went. They land in some kind of volcanic hellscape, and Chen Xing is pretty sure this is not on any tourist map. He is worried this portal is a trap for other tamers, but Lily suspects their entry was no accident at all. In fact, she can feel the entire realm calling out to them, pulling them deeper into the mystery. And right on cue, a massive, burning demonic sword erupts from the ground. Looks like they found what they were looking for. This demonic sword summons a little ghost fire to lead them somewhere, which is not at all creepy. This fire then forms a giant, terrifying dragon head over a gate, basically saying the master is in. Lily can somehow read the ancient text, which translates to "Welcome to the Abyss of Eternal Resentment." A 5-star review, I am sure. She can read the words but has no clue what they mean, so Chen Xing just decides to press on, hoping for answers. Of course, their welcoming committee is a pack of angry little lava dragons, because why not? One of them lunges right for Chen Xing's face, and Lily screams for him to get out of the way. But Lily's got this, jumping in front of him with her new water sword and a very smug grin. This torrent sword's power surges around her, revealing the form of some kind of horse-headed, fish-tailed beast. With her command, the water coalesces into a massive dragon ready to throw down. Meanwhile, some random red-haired guy is watching from the sidelines, totally geeking out over her power level. Lily goes full-on chibi rage mode, chasing the little dragons down while Chen Xing begs her not to. Suddenly, a dark presence appears behind her as she vows to destroy anyone who dares to harm her master. Turns out that red-haired guy is getting absolutely wrecked by some kind of dark energy, screaming in agony. This power transforms him into a demonic wolf beast, now wielding a holy sword of his own. His new form immediately senses Lily's sword, recognizing the power of another divine artifact. This guy, apparently named declares he has claimed this realm and has zero intention of giving up his new toy. We get a quick flashback showing his people being caged by humans, fueling his whole revenge quest. This memory continues with a brutal massacre, where humans are slaughtering his kind with those same purple weapons. One of his comrades gets brutally impaled right in front of him, sealing his hatred for humanity. And the one responsible is some woman in red, who he calls a cowardly old hag for ambushing him. This woman in red from the flashback shows up, and she is absolutely not amused by the old hag comment. She completely loses it, screaming for him to shut up while a demonic aura flares behind her. In his memory, her rage manifests as the moment he was brutally impaled. Then her anger immediately pivots to her disastrous dating life because priorities are clearly in order. A nasty voice in her head just twists the knife, laughing that nobody wants her anyway. Meanwhile, Chen Xing is totally lost in this hellscape, trying to catch his breath after Lily ran off. And of course, the woman in red finds him, a voice he recognizes as the queen bee. She gets right in his face demanding answers while he is just panicking about being outnumbered. Our boy is just baffled by her bizarre questions, realizing she is acting incredibly strange. Then she just collapses into a puddle of despair, questioning if she is really that unattractive. Turns out getting rejected on a mission right after being called unwanted has triggered a full-blown crisis. Seeing his chance, Chen Xing decides to play along, telling her she is charming to buy some time. It totally works, and as they get close, poor Fizz is just watching this whole train wreck unfold. Right on cue, Lily returns and is absolutely furious to find her master cozying up with the enemy. This two immediately start bickering in chibi form, with the queen bee accusing Lily of having a crush. Lily's denial is not exactly convincing as she gets a little too handsy with Chen Xing herself. Our boy is just caught in the middle, begging his overprotective dragon to please calm down. Done with the drama, the queen bee unleashes a massive energy attack to end the conversation. But a new guy named Razor arrives with his own demonic beast, announcing he is here to clean up this mess. He promptly kicks them both aside, blaming Chen Xing's organization for her being too overworked to date. Razor just scoffs at the idea of betrayal, confident the queen bee is too loyal to their paycheck. He then sicks his massive twin-blade mantis on them, bragging about their organization's great benefits. That demonic beast moves in a blur, its blades flashing as it closes in on Lily. She can barely block the strike, her sword trembling as Chen Xing realizes she is totally outmatched. So our boy tries a new strategy, yelling that money cannot buy the love her heart longs for. Razor is completely unmoved, ordering his mantis to power up and slice this stubborn pest in half. Its spinning attack sends Lily crashing to the ground, completely disarmed and vulnerable, leaving Chen Xing wide open and having a full-on "well, this is it" panic attack. This mantis looms over Lily, preparing a final decisive slash to end the fight for good. It gets right in her face, and for a terrifying moment it looks like she is done for. But then some bizarre dark energy suddenly lifts her into the air, with a tiny chibi version of herself on her stomach. Sure, why not? A massive red serpent dragon appears out of nowhere, completely overpowering the mantis with ease. At the same time, a mysterious voice whispers to Chen Xing as that demonic wolf from before materializes behind him. This wolf projection immediately calls out the queen bee, questioning why she is just watching from the sidelines. Seeing his chance, Chen Xing launches into a dramatic speech about finding true love before youth fades away. While the red dragon thrashes the mantis, the voice reminds him that everyone's life is now in his hands. He keeps laying it on thick, telling the queen bee she deserves more than just men who are after her money. Razor has finally had enough of this noisy little brat, ordering his beast to take Chen Xing out first. This mantis immediately changes targets, diving straight toward our boy who is completely defenseless, and it unleashes a massive energy blast right at him, which is a pretty definitive way to end a conversation. Razor is absolutely floored, screaming in disbelief that his ultimate attack somehow missed its target. This queen bee, meanwhile, is now completely smitten, asking Chen Xing to be her true love, and he just rolls with it. This sudden romantic development sends both Lily and Fizz into a synchronized chibi rage fest. Completely losing his cool, Razor calls his boss a brainless woman and sicks his demonic beast on her. Her own Stinger Bee beast materializes in a flash of lightning, ready to defend its master. Razor's mantis does not hesitate, unleashing a furious spinning blade attack to overwhelm her. Down below, Chen Xing checks on Lily, who insists she is totally fine despite the damage. He realizes the queen bee is outmatched, asking Lily if she can use her ultimate serpent power again. Above them, the two beasts are locked in a vicious clash of purple and yellow energy. Razor's mantis finally slams the Stinger Bee down, promising to make his boss suffer for her betrayal. Having seen enough of this incredibly toxic workplace drama, Chen Xing decides it is time to end this. Lily immediately powers up her torrent sword, summoning a massive water dragon to the field. She then dives forward with her blade, unleashing a devastating vortex of pure water energy. This attack completely engulfs Razor and his beast, washing them away as he screams about getting revenge. But the queen bee gets caught in the blast too, reaching out to Chen Xing in total confusion. Our boy just scratches his head, realizing he just friendly fired the entire battlefield, a tactical masterpiece. With the enemies gone, Lily and Fizz immediately resume their fight for his attention, clinging to him for dear life. Suddenly, a strange dark energy surrounds them all, and Chen Xing realizes they are hearing a weird voice. This creepy voice starts tempting him, asking how long he is going to play the gentleman with all these girls around. It urges him to just sink into his desires as the massive demonic sword looms over the trio. Chen Xing is caught in the middle of his fan club, begging Lily and Fizz to please calm down. Their little love triangle gets interrupted by a swarm of creepy female ghosts, because of course it does. Lily, however, is more concerned that her master is still thinking about other women priorities, people. Suddenly, the torrent sword begins to glow as a mysterious voice chimes in with some thoughts. It tells Chen Xing he is the only one who can protect their king, which he is pretty sure means Lily. Just then, a massive demonic claw slams into the ground, announcing a very unwelcome new guest. That demonic wolf is back, unleashing a massive torrent of hellfire to greet them. He is definitely not here to make friends, judging by the whole glowing red eyes and flaming mon aesthetic. His attention immediately locks onto the torrent sword, recognizing the power of another holy artifact. A hand then reaches out through the swirling energy, taking hold of the legendary blade. And it is Chen Xing who is just as surprised as anyone that he can suddenly wield its power. With their new power-up, the trio stands back-to-back against a fresh horde of shadowy monsters. Our boy immediately puts the sword to use, unleashing a massive wave of water that smashes through the enemy ranks. This sword spirit explains its purpose is protection, basically telling him his new job is to guard Lily. After clearing the immediate threat, he turns to check on his companions, making sure they are okay. But a new ghost appears, this one a white-haired girl radiating some seriously bad vibes. She calls him brother, which sends Chen Xing into a state of complete and utter shock. This girl then lays on a massive guilt trip, blaming Lily for her suffering and asking why he abandoned her. Chen Xing desperately tries to fight the mental assault, knowing if he falls for this trick, they are all doomed. With a flash of determination in his eye, he steels himself to break free from her powerful illusion. Chen Xing finally snaps, realizing that Ghost Girl was just a cheap trick to mess with his head. And the mastermind is revealed, a massive demonic wolf beast that looks extremely happy to be here. It immediately goes for a stomp because subtlety is for creatures with smaller feet. But Chen Xing holds his ground with the torrent sword, accusing the beast of bewitching his entire fan club. This monster just powers up a nasty-looking purple energy ball in its claw, completely unimpressed. Then it brings that claw down in a vortex of pure dark energy, trying to crush him. Our boy struggles, realizing this thing literally feeds on emotions, which is just terrible news for this group. Just in time, Fizz arrives in her full-on giant serpent form, screaming for her master. She slams right into the beast, shielding Chen Xing and Lily from the devastating blow. After the save, he checks on Lily, who is fine thanks to his purification, while Fizz hovers protectively. This beast just scoffs, finding it hilarious that a crystal beast like Lily would bother protecting humans. Chen Xing gives the world's most helpful advice. Hey girls, try not to have any feelings while we fight this feeling-eating monster. It promptly unleashes a torrent of hellfire, forcing the two to split up and dodge for their lives. Then it follows up with a dark energy blast as Chen Xing orders Fizz to cover Lily with poison mist. This plan fails spectacularly as a demonic claw snatches Lily right out of the air. Chen Xing can only watch in horror, screaming a warning that is way too late. She gets hit point-blank with a massive energy beam, completely engulfed in the blast. But the sword spirit intervenes, refusing to let its power be used against its own king, much to the beast's confusion. Seeing the opening, Chen Xing yeets the holy sword right back to Lily, telling her to take the chance. And she catches it midair, gripping the hilt with a surge of newfound power. Fully powered up, Lily unleashes a massive pillar of water energy with her Azure Abyss slash. Her attack completely scours the demonic landscape, sending out waves of pure destruction. And the giant emotion-eating wolf is left totally code, complete with cartoon dizzy eyes. Just then, a new blonde woman with a gnarly purple sword appears, calling Lily a hateful holy sword. She seems to be admiring her own weapon, calling it a holy sword too, which is a very generous description. Her sword then speaks, apologizing to its king for being unable to lend its power just yet. It then shrinks the giant wolf down to a tiny, adorable form, leaving Chen Xing utterly baffled by the gender reveal. This mini-wolf immediately zips over to Fizz, who is not at all pleased by the sudden blast of heat. Turns out the wolf promised to help Fizz get revenge, so this whole fight was just a big, violent misunderstanding. But the torrent sword is absolutely furious, accusing the wolf of defying its king while Lily stands there confused. This sword spirit then asks to borrow Fizz's body for a moment, because consent is for mortals apparently. It manifests as that red serpent dragon again, scolding the little wolf for being spoiled rotten. This wolf immediately fires back, accusing the dragon of betrayal and choosing the path of death. In response, the dragon just bites down on the wolf, declaring it is a knight's duty to be violent. And now the two spirits are just brawling, calling each other traitors like a particularly dramatic divorced couple. Their little spat is literally causing the entire dimension to crack apart at the seams. Lily desperately tries to get them to stop fighting before they all get deleted by the collapsing reality. Our boy Chen Xing jumps in too, yelling at them to stop recklessly joyriding in his friend's body. He gets right in the torrent sword's face, forbidding it from messing around with Fizz anymore. And it actually works. The sword spirit begins to separate from Fizz, finally ending the possession. Chen Xing frantically checks on Fizz, who is finally back to her normal self after that whole possession ordeal. This mini-wolf compliments Lily on finding a trustworthy guy, all while literally biting Fizz's tail. Turns out Fizz's people are being hunted by a human organization, and the wolf promised to help her get revenge. With the enemy base located, the wolf asks for leave and zips off to start the mission. Fizz immediately tries to milk the situation for sympathy, claiming an injury that definitely did not happen in battle. From afar, the wolf confirms it has found the Darkshade Group's headquarters, the same villains from before. Hearing this, Chen Xing gets that classic protagonist look and declares he is joining the fight. His fan club immediately jumps to the wrong conclusion, thinking he is still hung up on the queen bee. Our boy clarifies this is for Fizz's revenge too, since she was also a victim of that group. Completely moved by his loyalty, Fizz pulls him into a grateful, world-class hug. This wolf spirit returns, advising Fizz to stick with Chen Xing even after her revenge is complete. With all the exposition out of the way, the wolf dissolves the entire dimension to send them home. This next morning, Chen Xing brings breakfast for his new house guest, the wrathful Holy Sword. He heads for the guest room door, completely unaware of the surprise waiting for him, because inside the little wolf has transformed into a horned girl who is not dressed for breakfast. He bursts in and has a complete meltdown, dropping the food and demanding to know who she is. She calmly explains that after he defeated the beast, it unlocked this new human-like form as an ability. Now fully rested, she announces it is time to fulfill her promise, much to Chen Xing's chibified horror. Our boy has a sudden moment of clarity, claiming he understands everything now, and she immediately gets in his face, asking if he is into her new form while he just panics. She gets right in his ear, suggesting she is just as interested as he supposedly is. Chen Xing completely short-circuits, unable to process this sudden and aggressive development. Then she just tackles him to the floor, flipping the script and asking what he is trying to do. Her logic is that canines like to mark their territory, a truly romantic gesture. With that settled, she decides it is time to take their relationship to the next level. Meanwhile, his entire fan club is at the dinner table wondering where their food delivery guy went. Just then, a new purple-haired woman in a suit arrives, having tracked him down to his house. Her first thought upon seeing the other girls is that he is cheating on her, because of course it is. A suspicious noise from a nearby room immediately draws her undivided attention. Peeking inside, she finds Chen Xing in a very compromising position with the horned girl on the bed. This woman just stands there, her brain buffering as she tries to understand the scene. And then she unleashes a shriek of pure fury that blasts everyone in the room. Soon the whole gang is lecturing the horned girl on boundaries while the new woman forbids her from possessing Fizz again. This horned girl explains she was just trying to fit in, and also that she has found the enemy base. Chen Xing immediately shuts down, calling for backup, revealing the association has moles from the dark underworld gang. While the Queen Bee is ready for an all-out assault, he wisely suggests a stealthier approach is needed. Their target is the dark underworld gang's base, a sleek and modern skyscraper. Inside, those two goons from before, including Razor, are tied up and awaiting their fate. This pink-haired woman knows they are done for, telling her partner the boss has already decided on execution. From the shadows, their leader looms, asking if he really seems like the type to punish every little mistake. The answer is yes. The lead pushes forward as the conflict keeps escalating. Tension builds as the stakes grow higher. The moment shifts and the balance tips. Something changes in the air between them. The scene holds, then moves on. Conflict simmers beneath the surface. He holds his ground as the situation unfolds. She takes a step and the dynamic shifts. The next beat of the story lands. The pressure rises as the dangerous clash keeps escalating. The lead pushes forward as the conflict keeps escalating. Tension builds as the stakes grow higher. The moment shifts and the balance tips. Something changes in the air between them. The scene holds, then moves on. Conflict simmers beneath the surface. He holds his ground as the situation unfolds. She takes a step and the dynamic shifts. The next beat of the story lands. The pressure rises as the dangerous clash keeps escalating. This whole team gets blasted by a massive attack with Chen Xing screaming for Lily. But instead of being code, Lily just opens her eyes, looking completely unfazed. She finds herself in some kind of artificial Avalon realm with a sword and a stone, a classic. Elsewhere, two of their allies run into a new shadowy figure who is ready to test their skills. Back with the main group, they are fighting their way through, desperate to rescue Lily from a tough enemy. Their path is blocked by a new white-haired villainess who makes it clear they are not going anywhere. She seems to know the Horned Girl's weapon, mockingly welcoming the Wrath Holy Sword to the party. This Horned Girl realizes the villain's own dark blade is how their location was pinpointed. With a look of pure determination, she decides to handle this new opponent all by herself. She launches herself into a duel, telling the others to keep moving and leave this fight to her. Chen Xing asks if there are more enemies, and the intel from Black Dog confirms their day is about to get worse. And speak of the devil, a colossal shadow beast emerges to greet the rest of the team. This white-haired villain challenges the Horned Girl to a Holy Sword showdown, which is a bold claim for her weapon. Not backing down, the Horned Girl powers up her own ultimate move, the Holy Sword Judgment. Her fiery red attack smashes right into the villain's dark purple energy shield. This villain just finds the whole revenge quest adorable, promising to entertain her for a bit. At the same time, Fizz attacks the shadow beast, but its master notes she is acting without orders. This creature is impossibly fast, dodging her attack and completely shocking Chen Xing's group. It instantly traps both Fizz and Chen Xing in a paralyzing green goo, taking them out of the fight. In the other battle, the Horned Girl is already defeated and the main boss prepares the finishing blow. This leader of the dark underworld gang, a creepy dude with a massive red claw, is ready to strike. Meanwhile, somewhere else, the blonde woman with the purple sword is freaking out, sensing danger. She calls out to Torrent's sword, ready to unleash its power to help her master. A golden sword in a stone glows and she rushes towards it, needing its power. This purple-haired villainess mocks her, saying she is making things too difficult. A massive blast of pink energy erupts as the two clash violently. This blonde woman, now wielding the Torrent sword, asks if her enemy is invisible. She is hit, groaning in pain as blood splatters across her arm. Wounded and exhausted, she admits she cannot handle this enemy in her current state. This golden sword in the stone pulses with light, and a voice asks if its lord has returned. A split panel shows Lily, Chen Xing, and the Horned Girl all wielding holy swords, as the villain notes 3 people have them. This golden sword spirit demands they all be brought in, believing its lord is among them. This purple-haired villainess is surprised by the other holy sword wielders, warning Chen Xing not to push himself. Chen Xing, powering up his own holy sword, declares he is the only one who can fight right now. He clashes with the villain, who finds his determination interesting and wants to see how long he lasts. Their holy swords collide in a blinding explosion of energy. Chen Xing looks shocked, asking him, while the villain excitedly asks if the key worked. 2 shadowy figures emerge from a blinding golden light, ready for action. Chen Xing, battered and bleeding, looks up from the ground, confused. Sitting under a tree, Chen Xing looks lost, wondering where he is. Chen Xing wakes up in a peaceful grove, completely healed and with a very relieved Lily on his back. But their reunion is cut short by the purple-haired villain who has spotted the ultimate holy sword. This legendary blade glows with immense power, ready to recognize its next wielder. As the villainess reaches for it, a voice demands to know who the true heir of the Dragon Emperor is. And then the legendary sword reveals its true form, a total creep staring at the villainess. It fondly remembers its last master having the same broad-mindedness, which is one way to put it. Suddenly, the sword senses something familiar about Lily, pausing its leering for a brief moment. Lily steps up to the challenge, declaring her own connection to the Golden Dragon lineage. Despite that, the pervy sword spirit officially picks the villain as its new master just to be difficult. This villainess immediately mocks Lily, pointing out the sword clearly has a type and it ain't her. Our boy Chen Xing finally gets it. This legendary weapon is just a dirty old man in sword form. He has a horrifying epiphany that the strongest holy sword picks its wielder based on pure fan service. Just then, the sword spirit spots Chen Xing, clearly annoyed another guy is crashing its party. It proudly proclaims its independence, stating it is not bound by loyalty and will choose whoever it wants. With that, Chen Xing hatches a brilliant, if desperate plan, win with quantity not quality. He calls out to the sword, promising he has some goodies that might change its mind. His big move is to summon 2 more allies, basically offering the sword a harem to switch sides. This legendary weapon is completely stunned, its little heart eyes popping out at the new arrivals. Overwhelmed by the sheer possibilities, the sword is basically a blushing, drooling mess. Its mind immediately jumps to a paradise of wine and women, proving the ultimate bribe has worked. This villainess can only watch in disbelief as the sword's spirit totally fawns over Chen Xing. With a confident wink, the sword announces it is officially switching sides for a better offer. Absolutely livid at being dumped, the villainess charges forward to destroy the traitorous blade. But the holy sword meets her attack head-on, calling her an insolent fool for even trying. She's completely stunned that the legendary weapon actually managed to damage her own dark sword. Its counterattack sends her stumbling backward as Chen Xing and his crew just watch the drama. This villainess is practically vibrating with rage, her spider emblem glowing ominously. In response, the sword's spirit gets even angrier, absolutely losing its mind over being mocked. It unleashes a massive wave of golden power, declaring her unworthy and telling her to get lost. This villain gets completely annihilated by the blast, thrown back by the sheer force of the attack. As she is engulfed in light, she screams that she cannot accept being defeated this way. Meanwhile, the sword is just admiring its own handiwork, calling it a hole-in-one with maximum smugness. With its previous owner taken care of, the sword formally recognizes Lily as its temporary master. Lily grabs the hilt, and the blade immediately crackles with an immense surge of golden energy. This torrent of power flows directly into her as Chen Xing can only call out her name. This power transfer is so volatile it causes a massive explosion right at their feet. When the smoke clears, Lily is standing there, her clothes completely shredded from the energy overload. This sword spirit, of course, comments on the nice view before complaining about her low power level. Suddenly, it transforms into a new white-haired person, still complaining that Lily cannot handle its strength. Chen Xing is floored to see the sword as a humanoid crystal beast, which insists it is a special existence. This sword spirit introduces himself as Avalon, immediately demanding to meet the other ladies. While Chen Xing is already planning the next training arc, Lily is just trying to survive her wardrobe malfunction. Avalon officially joins the party, smugly hoping its new master will be strong enough to conquer it someday. Meanwhile, the villainess who got blasted away finds herself facing a massive, swirling energy attack. She is somehow still alive and absolutely furious, vowing she will never forgive that pervy broken sword. But her day gets even worse when a subordinate reports their entire base has just been overrun by men in suits. Turns out the entire dark underworld gang was captured, and this girl only got away thanks to her invisibility. She tries to give her boss a pep talk, insisting they can still rebuild as long as they are free. This villainess shuts that down fast, revealing their little gang was tangled up with some very powerful people. And we get a look at these shadowy higher-ups who seem like the type to clean up loose ends. A dark, thorny power swirls around the villainess as she prepares to make her escape. In a surprisingly tender moment, she embraces her last follower, promising to protect her no matter what. Elsewhere in the gang's basement, some captured allies are tied up, but one of them activated a tracker. Right on cue, a rescue team storms the facility, ready to free the captives from their bonds. This scene shifts to a fancy office, where an agent reports the dark underworld gang has been completely dismantled. This is young Master Zhang Kai, and he is very interested to know who was behind this operation. His agent nervously explains their own people did it since a rival gang had kidnapped his older sister. Instead of being angry, Zhang Kai just stands up, finding this whole mess rather interesting. He muses about his clueless sister getting involved, learning some unknown man is at the center of it all. With a glint in his eye, he adjusts his glasses, which is the universal anime sign for I am about to make this complicated. Meanwhile, Zhang Kai gives his men a simple order: eliminate anyone who gets in his way. Back with Chen Xing, he has found himself in a fan service paradise, completely smothered by his new allies. This white-haired sword spirit Avalon calls him out for clinging to a kid, but he claims it is for Lily. Avalon gets a little handsy while someone finally points out this kid is actually just a sleazy old man. This horned maid notes that Avalon is only interested in beauty, which is a weird trait for a legendary weapon. Blushing, Avalon seems pretty satisfied with the horned girl, calling her a worthy knight for the Wrath Sword. This word knight suddenly triggers a memory for Chen Xing, connecting to a mysterious quest for 12 of them. This snake lady is stunned they do not know about the 12 knights, hinting it is a huge deal for their clan. With a serious look, Avalon confirms this is all about being chosen by the Holy Sword clan. An info dump reveals the knights are actually crystal beasts tasked with protecting the Dragon King. Turns out the 12 knights are the specific crystal beasts chosen by the 12 legendary holy swords. These chosen knights can then channel the power of their swords to get a massive power boost, and their main job is to protect the new crystal beast king, whoever that turns out to be. This blonde girl wonders how she and a villain can both use the torrent sword, leaving Chen Xing totally lost. Finally, Avalon gets fed up with all the questions and tells everyone to shut up and ask one at a time. After that lore dump, Chen Xing decides it is time for a training arc and requests a mock battle. He is still thinking about how Lily can use a holy sword's power so freely when the knights are limited to just one. Even Avalon, the ancient sword spirit, has no clue how humans are pulling this off, which is super reassuring. This team arrives at a massive beast master examination venue for his training session, and we get a look at his opponent, a massive snarling wolf beast that looks ready to tear him apart. So Chen Xing's training battle begins, but he is told he cannot actually control the torrent sword's power yet. He gives his little snake beast Fizz a pep talk about becoming the sword's true master someday. Meanwhile, the opponent's smug owner declares anyone who opposes his foundation is getting erased. This fight kicks off with Fizz wrapping up the giant wolf, and Chen Xing orders the finishing blow. But a gem on the wolf's head suddenly cracks, signaling a classic mid-battle power-up. Its horns and claws start glowing with some serious final form energy. Now with menacing red eyes, the beast easily starts breaking free from Fizz's hold. It lets out a massive roar, shattering the snake's grip with a huge burst of power. Poor Fizz gets sent flying through the air, completely overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events. Chen Xing can only watch in shock as his dizzy-looking snake beast gets tossed aside. This wolf beast then charges up a massive energy ball ready to end this little training session. With a furious snarl, it unleashes the attack with a devastating swipe of its claws. Fizz takes the full force of the blast, getting completely engulfed in blue energy. This resulting explosion is so huge it even sends Chen Xing flying backward. From the stands, the suit-wearing villain smirks, disappointed that this was so easy, but Fizz is not down yet, transforming into her humanoid form to protect her master. Chen Xing, however, tells her to stand down as his own sword begins to glow with blue energy. He grips the hilt, ready to show this guy what a real holy sword wielder can do. Channeling the torrent sword's power, he charges forward in a vortex of swirling water, and with one clean strike, he sends the powered-up wolf beast crashing straight into the stadium wall. This powered-up wolf beast gets back on its feet, but now there are three of them, all glowing with menacing red energy. Chen Xing is completely cornered as the trio of demonic wolves stares him down, clearly not here to play nice. From the stands, the smug owner smirks, bragging that his boss taught him to always be cautious and finish the job. Fizz jumps in front of her master, asking the Riptide Sword if it can create a secret realm for them to escape. But the sword explains that opening a realm requires a night-level beast, which is way beyond their current pay grade. So Fizz declares she will just have to evolve right now, since leveling up was the entire point of this training. Avalon pops in to clarify that evolution to night level requires a near-death experience, not just a can-do attitude. She then suggests a totally sane plan, put Chen Xing in mortal danger to trigger Fizz's evolution through emotional trauma. And our boy Chen Xing, ever the strategist, immediately agrees to gamble his life to power level his snake beast. He orders Fizz to use her poison mist while he prepares to face the three wolves head-on. She unleashes a massive cloud of toxic green gas, blanketing the entire arena in a deadly haze. This backlash makes her dizzy, but luckily Chen Xing catches her, having conveniently developed antibodies to her poison. Unfortunately, the poison has absolutely no effect on the demonic wolves, who just glare through the mist. It turns out their dark power makes them completely immune, rendering her ultimate move totally useless. As one of the beasts lunges forward, Chen Xing braces himself to fight his way out with the holy sword. Seeing her master in danger, Fizz's resolve hardens. She knows she has to get stronger and fast. With all three wolves closing in for the kill, Chen Xing desperately screams for Fizz to evolve already. In a moment of pure panic, she screams out his name as the attack is about to connect. Suddenly, a massive torrent of blue energy explodes from Chen Xing himself, blasting the wolves backward. His eyes are glowing with the sword's power, and he looks just as surprised as everyone else. And that power surge from Chen Xing was just the trigger. Fizz finally hits her night-level evolution. Our boy quickly realizes the wolves are going nuts because their collars are zapping them into a frenzy. Despite the pain, the three demonic wolves immediately lunge at the newly powered-up Fizz. Looking completely unfazed, she readies her blade for the 3-on-1 assault. She immediately unleashes a new ultimate, summoning a massive water hydra to overwhelm the pack. This hydra's head strike true, chomping down on the wolves with overwhelming force. And just like that, the fight's over with Fizz standing tall after her first big night-level flex. Of course, the epic power-up immediately wears off and she faceplants, complaining about her wobbly legs. Right on cue, some kind of arena security storms in, ordering her squad to capture the berserk beast. This lead officer stops dead in her tracks, finding Chen Xing holding Fizz with the actual problem children already knocked out. Another woman with long magenta hair arrives on the scene, coolly observing the absolute mess. This newcomer, Qi Yang, apologizes for the facility's negligence, admitting this is the second time a beast has gone berserk. His mind immediately connects the dots, suspecting the Beast-Tamer Association and its ties to the dark underworld. She wisely suggests they get his injuries checked, wanting to discuss this whole conspiracy somewhere more private. From the shadows, the smug wolf owner watches them go, admitting our boy is tougher than he looks. With a nasty smirk, he decides it is time to stop playing around and use his trump card. In a much nicer setting, Fizz is getting the full spa treatment from 3 Foxgirl attendants. This recovery session quickly devolves into a tickle fight, which seems to be standard procedure here. Qi Yang is surprised he has tamed another humanoid beast, but Chen Xing just wants to get to the point. She gets down to business, asking if he has told anyone about the spy in their association, and he confirms he has not. Qi Yang gets right to the point, asking if Chen Xing is the mysterious hero who took down the Underveil group. He is stunned, she knows, but she explains the berserk wolf was a five-tail they'd just rescued from that very gang. She lays out the conspiracy, confirming the accident was a setup orchestrated by the spy in their association. But Chen Xing catches a detail. He remembers them capturing a two-tail, not a five-tail. She then reveals the wolf's collar was a banned device from the Human Survival Foundation that forces evolution. This foundation is revealed to be a creepy cult that turns people into crystal beasts to save the world. And the horrifying connection finally clicks for Chen Xing. The foundation is tied to the dark underworld gang. Qi Yang gets real close, warning him to lay low and stay away from the association for his own safety. Coincidentally, she has a mission for him in a rainforest, which is a totally subtle way to get him out of town. Chen Xing argues back, refusing to hide since he has not actually done anything wrong. She guilt-trips him by reminding him that his friends and beasts are now targets too. Promising to investigate while he is gone, she gives one of the fox girls a reassuring chin scratch. His companions try to protest, but she has already paid for his fun trip. He is leaving whether he likes it or not. Elsewhere, the smug wolf owner from the arena is on his knees, begging Jiang Kai for another chance. Jiang Kai offers a counter-proposal. Die peacefully and your family gets a nice severance package. As his armored enforcer moves in to deliver the final blow, the subordinate starts to panic. And that is the end of that guy, leaving a very artistic bloodstain on the wall. Jiang Kai then checks his phone, revealing he tracked Chen Xing down using his dumb sis. He wonders aloud how his sister will react when she finds out her new boyfriend is dead, which is not at all creepy. Back at home, a girl shoves a luxury trip ticket in Chen Xing's face, accusing him of landing a sugar mommy. Chen Xing tries to play the responsible big brother, lecturing his sister about his hard-earned cash, but she is not buying it for a second. He walks in to find his new allies, including the horned maid, welcoming him home as master. Our boy asks what is up with the maid, but his sister cryptically warns him it is a rabbit hole he does not want to go down. Avalon smugly takes all the credit, bragging that her special training has powered everyone up to a whole new level. This horned maid, now named Bajist, gets totally flustered that he actually used her name. Her tale gives it all away. Fizz then makes her grand entrance in her new humanoid form, soaking up a round of applause from the whole squad. With their forced vacation now a reality, his sister immediately decides a new swimsuit is top priority. Avalon jumps on that bandwagon, getting in his face and demanding he buy swimsuits for everyone for their tropical trip. And just like that, they are off to a tropical paradise because nothing says lay low from a conspiracy like a beach party. Inside the beach villa's changing room, the girls are all getting ready for some fun in the sun. Out on the beach, Chen Xing orders Avalon to stand guard and, more importantly, not to peep while the others change. Suddenly, her playful mood vanishes. She senses a powerful presence that definitely is not on the guest list. In a total panic, she crashes right on top of him, shouting that she has detected the verdant divine sword's aura in the rainforest. Her first thought naturally is that they have found a new harem member, because of course it is. Taking this a bit more seriously, Chen Xing stands up, spotting a mysterious group of women down the beach. This rest of his companions finally show up in their new swimwear, completely oblivious to the sudden plot development. Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, some poor guy is getting ensnared by a ghostly figure wielding some kind of musical magic. This green-haired spirit politely informs her victim the show is over as she prepares to finish him off. This blonde-horned girl is all fired up to find the new sword, while another just wants to enjoy the vacation they were forced into. But Avalon insists they have to move now because the Emerald Sword's aura is fading fast, and we see exactly why. This squad tries to hire a local guide for the rainforest, but the shopkeeper is a literal horror movie monster. A super creepy old lady with glowing eyes then warns them to turn back or they will anger the forest god. Chen Xing, now shirtless for some reason, stares down a little octopus statue of this supposed god. She continues her spooky story, explaining how this god punishes anyone who disrespects its creatures. In a flashback, we see some armed poachers who ignored those very warnings and forced their way in. And surprised, they were never heard from again, just a lot of screaming and some ominous green energy. This cautionary tale does not exactly fill the rest of the team with a ton of confidence. Chen Xing promises they will be good tourists, but she is not having it, so he just decides they will go it alone. Avalon, ever the hype woman, immediately frames this whole death trap as a trial from the local deity. So into the spooky jungle they go, with Avalon giving a pep talk about how cowards do not deserve to be king. One of the girls immediately gets defensive, insisting she is totally not scared, not at all. Our boy goes into Big Brother mode, holding his sister's hand so she does not get lost, much to her annoyance. Meanwhile, that green-haired spirit is being scolded for going overboard on some poor octopus monster. Turns out the poachers she dealt with were a real piece of work, gleefully slaughtering beasts in the forest. So the spirit, Krull, argues she was actually being merciful considering the poachers' crimes. One of the guys, now with crazy red eyes, was apparently possessed by her, screaming about her intruding in his body. With that mess handled, she sighs, sensing two more unwelcome guests have just walked into her domain. And there it is, the verdant divine sword glowing with some seriously volatile energy. Back with our crew, his sister is already complaining about the pace, unable to see the others ahead. Suddenly, he hears a mysterious song as a terrifying shadow monster with a million teeth materializes right behind him. That mysterious song immediately takes hold, its hypnotic magic glowing in the spirit's eyes. She ensnares Chen Xing in a cloud of green energy, completely taking control of his mind. With his eyes now glowing, he screams at her, demanding to know what she did to his friends. He struggles against her influence, calling her a monster as she just smiles at his panic. This chaos throws his whole team into disarray, wondering why their master is suddenly attacking his own sister. And in his possessed state, he unleashes a blast of energy that sends her flying. Fizz immediately jumps in to face him down while Bae just rushes to check on the injured girl. But his sister gets back up, her eyes now glowing with that same green, vengeful rage. Vowing payback, she sprints off into the jungle as Bae just desperately calls after her. Elsewhere, Avalon is giving a mini-me version of herself a lecture about how cowards cannot be kings. Suddenly, a drop of blood falls from above, right in front of the two blonde girls. It splatters on the ground as one of them asks if anyone else heard that weird noise. Her senses are screaming that they are absolutely not alone out here. And she is right, a terrifying green eye is watching their every move from the shadows. It is the forest spirit Krull, smugly holding some kind of small, armored wolf beast. A massive, toothy creature then appears, asking if they are looking for some protection, real welcoming. Krull grabs the blonde girl with a tentacle, accusing her of killing a crystal beast that died in her arms. She claims the beast was with the poachers, so she had to put it down herself to protect the others. To prove her point, she shoves the poor creature's corpse right into the horrified girl's arms. Krull explains the beast was brainwashed and modified by humans, a victim with no choice in the end. Krull rants about the endless tide of human vermin infesting her rainforest no matter how many she culls. She offers the horned blonde girl protection, but the girl freaks out, realizing Krull's human hate puts her master and Luna in danger. But Krull's nose does not lie, she immediately picks up the scent of a human on the girl. She calls her a traitor for siding with people, but the girl fires back, defending her master's honor. Taking that as a full confession, Krull lunges forward to punish the traitors herself. Elsewhere in the deep rainforest, some strange blue energy darts through the misty trees. A big armored wolf corners a tiny power guinea pig, a creature poachers apparently use as a living battery. This wolf raises its massive metal claw, ready to turn the little squeaker into a pancake. It lets out a final roar, its jaws wide open for the kill. But a flash of movement intercepts the attack just in the nick of time, and it is Chen Xing delivering a perfect flying kick right to the wolf's jaw, saving the day. He lands smoothly and tells the little guy to roll to safety, with Fizz standing by. Now surrounded by a whole pack of these strange hounds, he realizes something is seriously wrong with them. This little guinea pig confirms it, squeaking to Fizz that the wolves are being brainwashed and controlled by humans. Chen Xing immediately orders Fizz to use her purification ability to break their mental chains. She focuses her power, her sword erupting with a cleansing blue aura ready to go. With a powerful strike, she unleashes a massive pillar of purifying energy over the entire clearing. These wolves are caught in the torrent, whimpering as the brainwashing is forcefully washed away. One by one, they all collapse, the malevolent energy leaving their bodies in a purifying rain. Chen Xing looks over the now docile pack, wondering why he had to fight beasts that were more like machines. A red laser sight on his head has Chen Xing totally baffled by the human comment. Suddenly, a whole new squad of armed mercs shows up, asking if he is also hunting the spirit. Their leader, impressed by his skills, offers him a spot in their Ironblood gang for some team revenge. Apparently, everyone in this crew has a sob story about losing someone to the Forest Guardian. With Fizz asking for orders, he weighs his options. These guys might know where his sister is. Seeing no better choice, Chen Xing agrees to join their little revenge party, much to their delight. This captain immediately tosses him a uniform because nothing says welcome like mandatory gang apparel. As they suit up, he admits to himself they are totally lost in this jungle. But he figures playing along is the fastest way to get intel on the spirit and find his friends. They are led back to a massive, heavily armed poachers camp deep in the woods. It clicks for Chen Xing. This is the group the old lady warned them about, and his priority is still finding Luna. He immediately starts questioning a younger member, asking if he has seen a girl matching his sister's description. This kid says no, but suggests their patrols might have already picked her up somewhere in the forest. In return, Chen Xing gives the guy a talisman to protect him from the spirit's mind control. He learns the gang's disaster was just a backup team getting wiped. The main force is very much active. Another member then goes on a rage-fueled rant about the spirit being a monster that killed his son. Their leader just laughs it all off, brushing past the grief to get back to business. But as they enter the main camp, both Chen Xing and Fizz are stunned by what they see. This is not a revenge mission, it is a full-blown poaching operation, capturing giant beasts for cash. Fizz grabs his arm, totally confused why they are caging monsters instead of fighting the forest god. This poacher captain explains their master plan. They are hunting crystal beasts to use as bait for the forest god. But there is a tiny flaw in their logic, as the beasts are apparently too loyal to snitch and refuse to call for help. With a whole menagerie of creatures now caged, the leader decides it is time to force the issue. He orders his men to start executing the beasts, betting they will not die silently to protect their god. Fizz is absolutely horrified by this, but Chen Xing just watches grimly, already formulating a plan. He tells her to get ready to use her torrent sword to create a secret realm when he gives the signal. One of the goons grabs that poor little guinea pig, ready to make it the first victim. But Chen Xing makes a grand entrance, blasting the guy away while dramatically announcing the god of the rainforest has arrived. This throws the whole camp into chaos, since a watery spirit thing was definitely not in their intel reports. This captain barks orders to find this god and keep it away from the cages at all costs. Meanwhile, a mysterious hand wreathed in blue energy sneaks up on an unsuspecting guard. It is Chen Xing, now in a mask, grabbing the poacher from behind before he can even react. He sends the guy flying with a powerful water attack, adding to the absolute pandemonium. This leader is completely stunned, demanding to know what the hell is picking off his men one by one. His crew is getting tossed around like ragdolls by this mysterious blue force. As the captain tries to rally his men, he smugly thinks his plan is working, totally oblivious to the real threat. Chen Xing gives Fizz the go-ahead, telling her to summon the realm and free the beast while he provides cover. A massive wave of her power then smashes right through the wooden cages, shocking the captain. And just like that, the crystal beasts are stampeding to freedom, leaving the poachers in the dust. That one young merc is not giving up though, taking aim with his rifle to stop the great escape. But before that young merc can even fire, Chen Xing's water attack zaps him right out of his boots. This whole squad gets tossed around like laundry in a washing machine, screaming all the way down. These poachers think the forest god just got a DLC update, warning everyone not to attack the beasts. So the captain pivots to plan B, ordering his men to just follow the stampede. What could go wrong? Suddenly, a massive wall of water erupts from the ground, catching everyone completely off guard. This entire camp is instantly flooded, leaving the merc standing dumbfounded in a magical, glowing puddle. From the water rises a giant spirit, paralyzing the poachers right where they stand with its sheer presence. One guy gets snatched by a water hand, learning the hard way that loitering is also a punishable offense. Then a terrifying red eye opens in the void because this field trip was not stressful enough already. These poachers find themselves in a dark dimension, wondering if they have been killed and sent to a very wet afterlife. Chen Xing casually explains the rules of their new prison. Fizz's sword auto-teleports anyone who breaks the rules. Back outside, Fizz watches the last of the beasts escape, calling the mission a complete success. She admits that maintaining a pocket dimension is a bit of a workout and gets ready to shut it down. Meanwhile, the actual forest spirit Krull lets out a huge sneeze somewhere deep in the jungle. She turns to a captive Avalon, asking if she is finally ready to cooperate now. Avalon is completely bound by Krull's tentacles, struggling against the spirit's grip. Krull promises not to kill her if she is innocent, claiming her sword can read memories to find the truth. To test that theory, she presses the glowing green sword right against Avalon's chest. This sword reveals memories of Chen Xing taking care of her and her doing some laundry riveting stuff. This mini Avalon gets a mischievous look, asking if those are the kinds of memories she is seeing. Krull impatiently fast-forwards through Avalon's memories, trying to get to the juicy parts. Her magic bubble reveals a memory of Chen Xing's whole crew, giving her a good look at everyone involved. Seeing he is not a monster, she decides to let Avalon go because her standards are apparently pretty flexible today. But then a psychic distress call from the crystal beast screams through her mind, warning her about humans. That little power guinea pig from before suddenly zips in, squeaking her name like it is an emergency. It lands right on her shoulder, clearly trying to tell her something absolutely critical. This little guy even shows her its own memories of Chen Xing, as the mini Avalon panics about her master's safety. Meanwhile, the poachers zapped into Fizz's dimension suddenly reappear at camp, much to their leader's shock. Their captain gets way too emotional, grabbing the young merc Chen Xing befriended, thrilled he is not dead. This kid shoves him off, telling him to mind his personal space, a masterclass in setting boundaries with your boss. As one goon freaks out over the escaped beasts, Chen Xing just whistles, playing the part of an innocent bystander perfectly. This captain just smirks, revealing he'd already slapped trackers on all the creatures before they ran. Since the bait plan is toast, he decides they will just hunt the forest god down themselves. Plan B is always more violence. This sudden escalation leaves both Chen Xing and Fizz completely stunned, their simple rescue mission now a total mess. He rallies the whole gang for a full-on assault, pointing to a silhouette of the spirit to get their revenge bonfires lit. With Fizz's big spell on cooldown, Chen Xing decides they will just tag along, hoping to find a lead on Luna. In another part of the forest, a white-haired girl is tied up in vines, struggling against her captor. Her captor, a purple-haired girl, reveals her plan: bring the mind-controlled Luna back to Fizz for purification. A close-up on Luna's eye shows that same vengeful green glow we saw in her brother, and reflected in her gaze is the purple-haired girl, who seems to be an unexpected ally. A mysterious green-clad figure drops in, announcing that her friend is in desperate need of help. Totally startled, the purple-haired girl demands to know who this newcomer is, her hand already on her sword. She calls the stranger a monster, squaring up to fight whatever this green glowing thing is. But her senses are thrown for a total loop. This person smells like both human and crystal beast. This newcomer, Haya, claims to be a human from the Ironblood gang, insisting this form was a last resort. To prove it, she offers up a device that supposedly blocks the forest god's mind control, asking for a little faith. Haya even says to tie her up, offering herself up for execution if the tech fails. A bold sales pitch, you gotta admit. Taking her at her word, the purple-haired girl immediately wraps her in some very restrictive vines. This masked girl seems genuinely surprised she actually got tied up, as Luna remains bound in the background. Now with a prisoner in tow, they head deeper into the woods to find the still brainwashed Luna. They creep towards a dark, overgrown cave where Luna is being kept safe. Peeking inside, they find Luna, who immediately starts screaming about a monster. Poor kid's still not right. Her friend is just relieved to see her awake, trying to soothe her panic. Still tangled in thorny vines, Luna is completely bewildered by her bizarre situation. After freeing her, the purple-haired girl thanks Haya, who just brushes it off as humans helping humans. Suddenly, Luna grabs her ears, wincing from a shrill, piercing noise only she seems to hear. Haya explains it is an alarm for the forest god's power, and the purple-haired girl realizes it is Luna's attacker. With a grim look, Haya confirms that is exactly who it is, and they are dangerously close. Just then, a massive plant monster erupts from the ground, and Haya realizes its primary target is Luna. Luna stares in horror as the creature looms over her, and a blade slices right through the air towards them. This purple-haired girl's divine sword slams into the plant monster and does absolutely nothing, which is not ideal. Luna helpfully explains this thing is intangible, so only very specific attacks will actually work on it. Haya just stands there as the massive shadow beast looms, completely unfazed by the whole situation. Now the purple-haired girl is totally baffled because the monster's attacks are not even scratching Haya. Turns out Haya has a VIP pass, the spirit will not harm crystal beasts, and she has got their bloodline. She then unleashes a massive blast of green energy, showing she is not just here to talk. With a triumphant grin, she grabs the spirit monster, declaring she has finally got her target. This thing desperately tries to escape, but Haya is not letting go of her new friend. It zips off towards a survivor's camp, and Luna immediately realizes her brother might be there. Meanwhile, the real forest spirit Krull looks on ominously, sensing her goal is finally within reach. Over at the poacher camp, Chen Xing and the gang are lining up for new gear after their spectacular failure. Our boy spots a shiny crystal and asks about it, learning it is a rare item for leveling up beasts. This guy just gives it to him, saying their beasts are already max level so he can just have it. He immediately hands the crystal to Fizz, who absorbs its power to unlock her next big ability. With a smirk, Fizz levels up, unlocking a new poison mist domain that can knock people out instantly. This poacher captain quietly looks at a locket containing a picture of his family. Vowing that he has been waiting for this moment of revenge for a very long time, Fizz asks if they should stop them, but Chen Xing says no. As long as they are not hurting beasts, their revenge is their own business. Then out of nowhere, Avalon appears in her powered-up form, catching them both completely by surprise. He asks where Lily is, and Avalon says she is with the owner of the verdant divine sword, making Chen Xing wonder if that is the forest spirit. Chen Xing spots the forest spirit silhouette and immediately panics, realizing Lily is in danger. A furious tentacled spirit is attacking Lily, screaming about a dead child and vowing to kill them both. Seeing the chaos, the poacher captain orders his men to flank them, eager to jump into a fight that is not their problem. Lily finds herself completely powerless, caught in the spirit's grasp and unable to break free. She realizes the spirit's mind control does not work on these guys, so they will have to fight their way out. With a terrifying grin, the spirit decides that if the gentle approach failed, it is time for some violence. She unleashes a massive power-up, smashing the ground as she prepares to go on an absolute rampage. One of the poachers tries to rally the troops, yelling that there are only two of them, a classic pre-wipeout speech. This spirit just smirks back, dryly noting there are quite a lot of people for her to deal with. She then dives right into the mercs, and Lily jumps in to provide backup in the brawl. From a safe distance, Chen Xing watches the whole messy situation unfold, waiting for his moment. He gives Fizz the signal, who activates her voodoo domain and reverts to her ancestral snake-tailed form. Avalon, who is right there with him, is totally confused by Fizz's sudden and dramatic transformation. She explains it is a requirement for her clan's ultimate skill, as the poachers start to look very concerned. A massive green mist instantly floods the area, paralyzing the mercs mid-scream as they all drop to the ground. Both Lily and the spirit are stunned by this, but Lily immediately recognizes her master's handiwork. This entire squad of poachers is just laid out flat, taken down by a skill with a frankly absurd area of effect. Lily spots Chen Xing and immediately rushes over for a relieved hug, thrilled that he is finally here. But the green-haired spirit eyes him suspiciously, demanding to know why Lily's master is wearing a poacher's uniform. Chen Xing just stares back at her, asking if they have met before with a flicker of recognition in his eyes. This green-haired spirit introduces herself as Krull, explaining she only knows Chen Xing from Lily's memories. This reveal completely short-circuits Chen Xing's brain if she is friendly, who is the other green monster. Meanwhile, Haya's group arrives at the Ironblood survivors' camp only to find it completely deserted. Haya immediately worries her squad found the spirit's location and just left without her, so much for teamwork. Refusing to believe she was ditched, she zips off to investigate, leaving her two new companions in the dust. A quick look around confirms their fears. Not only are the people gone, but all the beast cages are empty too. They find a dead crystal beast, and Haya realizes the real rainforest spirit has definitely been here. Looking into the distance, she spots Chen Xing's crew and immediately mistakes Krull for the hostile spirit. Luna is about to run to her brother, but Haya stops her, warning that he is probably already mind-controlled. Haya preps her attack, planning to be a distraction while the others use her anti-mind control tech. With absolutely no warning, a massive blast of green energy slams right into the unsuspecting Krull. Chen Xing and Lily whip around, trying to figure out which poacher managed to miss nap time. Lily immediately launches a counterattack, annoyed that the distance messed up her one-shot kill. Haya easily parries the blow, as Lily furiously demands to know what this poacher thinks she is doing. Chen Xing calmly tells Fizz to fire up the voodoo domain again, but to target only this new attacker. But then Chen Xing and Lily pop in some earbuds. Wait, those are Haya's anti-mind control devices. Suddenly, Luna and her friend grab Chen Xing's head, yelling at him to snap out of the spirit's influence. He just stares back, completely baffled, and asks Luna what she is doing here, which shocks everyone. Our boy smirks, revealing he was never under control and was just playing along the whole time, a master of deception. Across the clearing, a powered-up Lily tells Haya to surrender because this whole misunderstanding is officially over. Krull is absolutely livid, her eyes blacked out with pure rage after that sneak attack. In her full tentacle monster form, she screams at Haya, completely ready to throw down. Luna's friend also mistakes Krull for the villain, vowing revenge for her master and Luna. She immediately launches a massive energy slash, not even waiting for an introduction. To her surprise, the attack actually connects, meaning this spirit is not intangible like the last one. A newly arrived Lily calls the purple-haired girl Bagster, accusing her of working with poachers. Chen Xing, trying to make sense of this mess, asks Luna what the hell has been going on. Luna's memory is a total blur, only recalling events after she woke up from the mind control. A quick flashback shows the poachers getting unceremoniously dumped back at their camp by Fizz's spell. Back with the unconscious captain, Krull's spirit form decides the chaos is her cue to get involved. She tells the little beast, apparently named Krulu, to unleash its power on the captain. A massive surge of green life force erupts from the captain's body, and his eyes snap open, now glowing with a power-up courtesy of the forest spirit. This newly supercharged captain suddenly appears on the battlefield, yelling at everyone to stop fighting. Krull, however, is still deep in her rage mode, looking ready to tear someone apart. Meanwhile, Haya is still locked in a tense standoff with Krull's writhing tentacles. She raises her shield weapon, screaming for the monster to die, fully committed to the misunderstanding. Then another guy drops in, firing guns at Haya to defend Krull. This party just keeps getting bigger. Except Krull's tentacles immediately snatch him midair, which was probably not part of the plan. Chen Xing and Lily can only watch in horror as their own side starts taking each other out. With pure black eyes, Haya screams for the guy Krull just snatched out of the air. Her captured friend just looks up at Krull, totally confused and asking his master what is going on. Chen Xing puts it together, this guy could not have recovered that fast, meaning the real attacker is someone else. He asks Avalon to heal the poacher, but she flatly refuses to help anyone who hurts crystal beasts. So our boy resorts to the ultimate negotiation tactic, promising a club full of hot older women, which immediately works. With his healer secured, Chen Xing tells the others to guard Luna and charges into the fight with his fiery sword. Meanwhile, Krull is literally standing on the poacher captain's chest, calling him a pest. She lectures him about humans needing to learn their place as Haya watches her friend get tossed around. In a shocking reveal, it turns out Haya actually used this kid as a human shield against an attack. Krull calls her out on it, but Haya just shrugs, saying the kid basically had a death wish anyway, a stellar defense. Suddenly, Krull's own ability activates against her will, leaving her completely baffled. It forces a vision of the poacher captain's memories, showing his happy family being attacked by her. Trapped in the memory, the captain swears he will kill the god of the rainforest for what she did, but Krull is just as lost, seeing memories of an atrocity she has no recollection of committing. Haya seizes the moment of confusion, blasting the distracted Krull with a massive energy attack. This blow lands hard, with the text claiming she has killed so many people she cannot even remember them all. Krull is left bleeding and stunned, having taken the full force of that sneak attack. Just then, Chen Xing and Avalon arrive to find the captain gravely injured, but our boy is sure his holy sword can save him. Avalon explains that to prevent an overload, Chen Xing and Lily have to help her channel the healing energy. He begins the process, absolutely floored by the insane healing speed of his new holy sword. Just as things calm down, a new hooded figure appears, standing over the defeated Krull with bloody claws. This newcomer wraps Krull in tentacles, declaring she is taking over her body and power because sharing is for losers. Now possessing Krull's form, she gloats about gaining a new puppet looking down on the battlefield. But suddenly she is shocked because Krull's body is apparently still fighting back from the inside. In fact, Krull's own tentacles are now restraining the hijacker, who is weirdly curious about how this is happening. Annoyed, the villain decides to just banish Krull's consciousness to a hidden realm until she can figure this out. From across the clearing, both Chen Xing's and Haya's teams can only stare as this brand new problem unfolds. This monster then holds up the verdant sword, taunting its original owner about being devoured by their own creation. Avalon is completely stunned, realizing her own holy sword is capable of spawning these nightmare creatures. Lily explains the sword manifests negative emotions. This thing is literally Krull's dark side and it is trying to eat her. This new monster then tries to turn the crystal beasts, mocking them for protecting humans who hunt them. Avalon just calls her a pain and leaps into the fray, slicing through the swarming tentacles with her light blades. But the ground erupts with even more tentacles, trapping both her and Chen Xing in a deadly forest of them. Chen Xing quickly shields the unconscious captain as they are both dragged down into the monster's slimy depths. His friends can only watch in horror as their master gets completely swallowed by this new enemy. At least Avalon manages to land a solid hit, carving a massive gash into the monster's side. Inside the beast, Chen Xing tells the captain to stay alive. He still owes him that trip to the club with hot older women. Avalon is also trapped, complaining about the grossness of it all as the monster warns them not to touch the water. And we see why the other poachers who fell in are literally melting into mindless, screaming zombies. With Avalon safe in a bubble, the rest of the poachers rise as a zombie horde, adding to the absolute chaos. Inside the monster's stomach, Chen Xing slices through the zombie horde trying to clear a path. His sword spirit pops up to warn him that recklessly using her power is a fantastic way to die. He keeps fighting from inside Avalon's protective bubble, completely surrounded by the screaming poacher zombies. From the shadows, the monster taunts him with a very friendly promise to wear his skin as a coat. She then calls him worthless, demanding he just give up and become her brand new puppet. In response, our boy just unleashes a massive wave of holy fire, wondering if these were the poachers from before. This sword spirit is completely baffled, questioning how he is using her power and why he smells like a golden dragon. Suddenly, the scene shifts and he is reaching for Lily, who is trapped in a strange green bubble. His holy sword makes contact with the mysterious energy field, and Chen Xing is immediately hit by a wave of total disorientation. This kid finds himself standing in a clean, modern hallway, completely lost. Peeking into a kitchen, he sees another version of himself cooking for Lily, definitely an illusion. His sword spirit explains the monster's slime was a hallucinogen, and she used the sword to piggyback into Lily's mind trip. Inside this dream, a much suaver version of him serves food to a very happy Lily. Her priorities are clearly in order. This dream version then gets super flirty, asking if she is ready for dessert with him as the main course. Our actual boy is just dying of secondhand embarrassment, completely horrified by Lily's romantic fantasies. He is so offended he tries to punch his own illusion, screaming that he would never be that cheesy. With the illusion shattered, he is back in the gross monster guts, finding the real Lily kneeling in distress. His sword spirit then points out another person trapped nearby in a bubble, the green-haired spirit Krull. Seeing that she is in pain, Chen Xing decides it is time to go illusion hopping again to figure out what is wrong. Chen Xing suddenly finds himself on a peaceful beach, clearly trapped inside someone else's memory. A girl who looks exactly like Haya runs ahead, happily calling for her brother to catch up. Her green-haired brother just smiles warmly, telling her to be careful, a perfect family moment, which immediately twists into a nightmare as he stabs her in the neck with a psychotic grin. This vision flashes to her being impaled by tentacles, staring in horror at her brother's ultimate betrayal. We then jump to a lab where a scientist offers a pre-monster Haya deal for revenge, because science. Strapped to a table, she endures the painful experiment as the lab coats celebrate their first successful human fusion. Her transformation is pure agony, sprouting horns and scales while she cries out for the brother she misses. Back in the illusion, a fully transformed Haya stands in a dark, watery void, confronting her past self. She looks up with glowing eyes, believing her long-lost brother has finally returned to her. In her delusion, she embraces Chen Xing, asking if he still remembers her after all this time. He just holds the confused girl, who seems to find a moment of peace in his arms. Watching from the sidelines, Avalon's sword spirit blames the holy sword's power for causing all this tragedy. Chen Xing grabs Haya's face, trying to snap her out of the illusion and tell her the truth. Meanwhile, back in the real world, the actual fight is still going at full throttle. Baxter is getting absolutely swarmed, slicing through tentacles that just will not stop coming. Even Luna's holy power is not enough. The sword amplifies their energy, but these things are apparently unkillable. Krull's dark side watches them struggle, bored and deciding she is done wasting her time on them. With a roar, she unleashes a massive wave of dark energy to cleanse the forest of all humans. And someone gets absolutely blasted out of the fight, sent flying by the overwhelming attack. But the monster's attack is suddenly blocked by a flurry of green energy blades out of nowhere. As Chen Xing's fiery holy sword carves right through the darkness, officially rejoining the fight, he lands with a solid thud, planting his feet back on the battlefield. Our boy stands with his crew, looking like he just walked out of a photo shoot, not a monster's stomach. Krull's dark side is completely stunned, demanding to know how he escaped her mental prison. She figures his sword counters illusions, but is totally baffled by how there can be two holy swords. Avalon explains that as the king of holy swords, she can just copy another one for a bit, a pretty neat party trick. Empowered by this phantom blade, Lily unleashes her own ultimate attack, ready to end this. Haya actually thanks Chen Xing for saving her from the illusion, and he is surprisingly gentle about it. This monster, having zero patience for this touching moment, whips a massive tentacle right at them. Lily just scoffs at the attack, completely unimpressed with the recycled move. She counters with her own massive fusion sword style, vowing to kill the beast for good. Even the monster is shocked, admitting this projected sword feels even stronger than the original. Then a barrage of green energy beams slams into its body from another angle. This combined assault seems to work, with Lily cheering that she actually did it. Of course, the monster is far from dead and is now absolutely furious. It instantly regenerates, sprouting more eyes and teeth because that is just how these things go. Now it is back, bigger and angrier than before, leaving the team completely stunned. Chen Xing just grits his teeth, realizing this fight is nowhere near over. He immediately starts giving orders, telling Fizz to get Luna to safety so the rest of them can back up Lily. Lily asks if he actually has a plan to deal with this thing, and Chen Xing hits her with a very confident yes. This monster, however, is now supercharged with life force, making it pretty much immune to physical attacks. His brilliant strategy is to dive inside the beast and use the holy sword to purify Krull. Sounds totally safe. As a distraction, one of the team members unleashes a massive energy blast to get its attention. But Baxter is already getting swamped, yelling that these tentacles are just impossible to finish off. So Fizz leaps into the air, telling him to watch as she shows him how it is done. Avalon then swoops in with her own attack, accidentally clipping Fizz in the process. Great teamwork, guys. With the others creating a massive explosion, Chen Xing tells Lily it is their cue to move in. Krull's dark side just watches them, smugly declaring that they cannot possibly stop her. She then reveals she is not the only one who hates humans, which is never a good sign. Suddenly, the surrounding forest lights up with dozens of glowing green eyes staring them down. This monster is turning the crystal beasts, ordering them to attack humans outside the rainforest. Chen Xing immediately changes tactics, sending Fizz and Baxter to stop the rampaging creatures. They rush off to play damage control, telling their master to be careful. Now down 2 members, Lily asks Chen Xing what the new, probably worse plan is. He tells her to focus on purification while he takes the lead on offense, handing over the holy sword. This development just makes the monster laugh, happy to see one of her main threats sidelined. She summons her own twisted holy sword, a massive blade made of pure wrath and life flame. The sheer pressure from the weapon is intense, letting them know she is finally done playing around. And Chen Xing, flanked by Avalon, just powers up his own swords and yells, "Bring it on." Krull's dark side brandishes its own twisted holy sword, ready for the big showdown. Chen Xing roars back, his own blade erupting in a torrent of righteous fire. He lets out a furious battle cry, channeling all his power into a single devastating swing. These 2 holy swords collide with a deafening crash, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Their clash creates a massive fireball that lights up the entire forest canopy. Elsewhere, a mysterious horned woman smirks, having apparently just found her target. Back in the fight, the monster actually recoils in pain, screaming that the holy fire hurts. Realizing this will not be enough, Chen Xing shouts for Lily to move in. Krull is counting on her. Without hesitation, Lily charges the beast with the phantom holy sword, ready to do her part. Of course, the monster immediately throws up a wall of tentacles to stop her dead in her tracks. Lily just carves through them with a wave of blue energy, telling them to get out of her way. She clears a path for herself, but the tentacle swarm is basically endless. Panicking, she realizes she will burn out the phantom sword's power before she can even reach Krull. And right on cue, she gets snagged by a fresh batch of glowing green tentacles. Avalon comes to the rescue, yelling for her to keep moving while she provides cover. A quick slice from Avalon frees her, and Lily is grateful for the assist. Now with a clear shot, she leaps towards the unconscious Krull, sword glowing with purifying light. She holds the blade over Krull's body, desperately trying to wake her up from the inside. Meanwhile, at the edge of the forest, Baxter is trying to stop a corrupted beast from escaping. This giant snake just ignores him and starts inhaling, powering up for a massive toxic breath attack. This corrupted snake beast finally dissolves into a cloud of toxic green mist, completely overwhelmed. Fizz floats there, pretty pleased with herself for getting all the rampaging monsters under control. Baxter points out they cannot purify this many, so they will just keep them restrained for Chen Xing to deal with later. Meanwhile, deep inside her own mind, the real Krull is sinking into a dark, watery void. She is completely lost in the subconscious abyss, totally unaware of the battle for her soul. But then a voice calls out her name, and her eyes snap open as she starts to regain awareness. This wakes up her dark side, who realizes Krull is fighting back, but the monster body is still not under her control. Back in the real world, the monster thinks Chen Xing's attacks are weakening, seeing a chance to strike. Our boy immediately proves her wrong by rocketing into the air for one final, devastating holy beam. It is a direct hit, and the monster lets out a blood-curdling scream as the holy fire tears into it. This whole area erupts in a massive vortex of flame and dark energy, a truly epic final clash. After the explosion settles, Chen Xing lands back on the scorched earth, looking completely spent. Avalon holds the now lucid Haya, explaining that the monster born from her was the one who killed her brother. Standing over the aftermath, Chen Xing declares the battle over, daring anyone else to step up. He is the last one standing, with both Haya and Krull now seemingly defeated and unconscious on the ground. But from the shadows, a mysterious horned woman is impressed by his power, calling him the Rainforest God Slayer. She then says she will not forgive him for buying Haya, which is a new and confusing accusation. This newcomer introduces herself as the leader of the Ironblood gang, because we definitely needed another villain. Just as she makes her grand entrance, Chen Xing's legs finally buckle from sheer exhaustion, and Lily has to rush in and catch him before he faceplants, our hero passing out at the perfect moment. This Ironblood gang leader looks over the unconscious girls, seeing not people but dollar signs. Without warning, she launches herself at 2 completely new characters who just wandered into the clearing. This guy immediately shoves his horned companion out of the way, playing the hero. He actually manages to block her attack, telling her to back off his prize, friend. This new villain just smirks, completely unimpressed by his whole protector routine. A full-on brawl kicks off, and she seems genuinely surprised he can even keep up, which lasts all of 5 seconds before he gets slammed into the ground, his partner screaming for her master. Before she can help, the blonde girl gets snatched up by the villain's massive, spiky tail. This gang leader spots a perfect opening and moves in to finish the job, no hesitation. And just like that, both of them are down for the count, completely and utterly defeated. But her green-haired subordinate starts pleading, explaining Chen Xing actually saved their whole gang from the monster. This boss grabs her chin, agreeing not to make trouble for that boy since her subordinate asked so nicely. Her subordinate then tries to stop her from taking the two new fighters, but the boss just declares them her property now. Just as she is about to make off with her new prizes, Avalon appears in a flash of golden light to stop her. Avalon boasts she can take her down easily even without a wielder, threatening to kill them all. This gang leader finally notices the holy sword lying next to Chen Xing, realizing who she is dealing with. Deciding it is too risky, she calls off the hunt and orders a retreat to their conveniently parked helicopter. And with that, the Ironblood gang makes a swift exit via their getaway chopper. Avalon stands guard, musing that fighting for real might have hurt Chen Xing because humans are just so fragile. Meanwhile, inside the helicopter, the gang leader is already on her phone, probably reporting to someone else. This gang leader texts her contact, confirming Avalon is awake and basically demanding payment for more info. Confused, her subordinate asks why she is so pleased, pointing out they came back completely empty-handed. Turns out her insane power comes from one of those royal crystal beast relics the higher-ups were after. She drops some lore. Avalon was the golden dragon emperor's sword, but everyone thought it was useless junk. Apparently, the last guy who had it was a total chump who could not use its power, making its location super valuable intel. With this new leverage, she plans to squeeze some young master and expose the Foundation's deepest secrets. Elsewhere at the Jiang family estate, a purple-haired girl is making a break for it, totally over being caged. Her escape plan is immediately shut down by a blast of blue energy right to the face. A family guard named Zhou Yuan calmly tells her to stop making a scene, using a magical water dolphin. She desperately offers to double his salary if he lets her go, but he is professionally not biting. Frustrated, she declares she will just get out herself, all while a guy in a suit watches from inside. This guy just sighs about how stubborn she is, then checks his phone for an important update. His phone shows a message from slow-roasted fruit meat. Yes, really, and he mutters Chen Xing's name. So he realizes Chen Xing actually got away with Avalon, deciding a more direct approach is now in order. Cut to another new character, Yang Qi, in her office, cross-referencing names on a conspiracy board. Her board is covered in silhouettes as she tries to find a single name that connects multiple lists. After all that work, she finally pulls a single name from the board, looking like she has found her target. And after cross-referencing with Foundation employees, she has narrowed it all down to just one person. Meanwhile, a voice explains Chen Xing pushed himself too far, and only the Emerald Holy Sword's life force can heal him. A green-haired spirit woman cradles the unconscious Chen Xing, pouring her energy into him to repay his sacrifice. This team anxiously asks if Chen Xing will be okay, but Krull explains he just needs her life force to recover. Unfortunately, his body is a black hole for energy, so this little healing session could take days. With so much power flowing between them, their memories start to merge, and Krull just decides to roll with it. She declares her past holds no shame, letting him see everything as he is bathed in her healing light. Suddenly, Chen Xing's mind snaps into a lush rainforest, completely lost and confused. He is looking around like he's been dropped into a whole new dimension, which, to be fair, he has. A cute little squid plant thing is carrying a person, and our boy has absolutely no idea what is happening. Turns out the Ironblood gang was hunting that person, and they are not happy their kill got snatched. In a flashback, a giant tree scolds a younger Krull for visiting the human camp, but she is just proud she saved a friend. Back in his mind, Chen Xing realizes the life force transfer is letting him see directly into Krull's memories. This massive influx of power is basically giving him a front row seat to her entire life story. For her bravery, the forest spirit grants Krull the Emerald Holy Sword, making her its new master. This sword swirls with an intense, vibrant green energy, practically humming with power. Now leveled up, Krull rallies the other crystal beasts, ready to go free their captured friends from the poachers. Chen Xing watches her past unfold, seeing her naive belief that she could attack humans without consequences. This memory shifts to a poacher screaming at the fleeing beasts, promising none of them will escape his wrath. Our boy's expression darkens as he witnesses the cruelty that shaped Krull's deep-seated hatred. These poachers are then shown mercilessly gunning down the crystal beasts in a brutal, one-sided assault. A horrified Krull can only stare in disbelief, her eyes turning black with despair at the slaughter. And in a flash of rage, her tentacles erupt from the ground, overwhelming the human attackers. Chen Xing watches her past self absolutely lose it, impaling the poachers with a storm of tentacles. This memory version of Krull explains she is the part born from pure hatred for humans. And our boy finally gets it, this is the trauma that created the monster he just fought. Back in the present, the life force transfer is making him writhe in absolute agony. This sword spirit warns Krull that he is about to wake up and she should probably be careful. Careful because he is overflowing with life energy and might get handsy. Oh great, right on schedule, his hand lands somewhere it definitely should not be. Then he just yanks her down on top of him, still completely unconscious. She is freaking out, demanding someone control their master while he mutters about her not being human. Meanwhile, the entire squad just stands there watching the train wreck, totally useless. Elsewhere, back at the Jiang family estate, the purple-haired girl is still having a full-on tantrum. Her brother gets a lecture from their dad for her recklessness, suspecting someone is influencing her. This old man seems to be putting the pieces together, looking rather displeased. And the brother confirms it, she was with a man named Chen Xing. His investigator got killed but confirmed Chen Xing has a powerful crystal beast by his side. With the rainforest mess finally over, Chen Xing leads his new crew out of the woods. Krull is now officially his crystal beast, and she is way too happy about it. He gets a call confirming the bill for a crystal beast sanctuary passed, ending the poaching problem for good. It is Yang Qi who is relieved he is alive and says she found his attacker from the training grounds. But there is just one tiny problem: the guy's already dead, leaving Chen Xing completely stunned. With a dark smirk, Chen Xing recalls his own naivety, believing the threat was actually over. Turns out, that little incident was just the opening act for a much bigger, deadlier show.